Yeah, this is one of those cases where it's the perfect fight with the perfect guys in the perfect place at the perfect time. Israel Adesanya obviously has been huge. He's a good-looking kid. He speaks well, and his fighting style is unbelievable. He's got great kicks, knees, punches, elbows, and he's worked on his wrestling. So, if he can stop you from taking down, if he gets taken down, he pops right back up. And then you got, first of all, he's from New Zealand. He's the interim champion. You have the Australian, who is the champion. Knockout power in both hands and great wrestling. So you literally couldn't script this any better. It couldn't come out any better than it is. That's why this fight is so big.
Whittaker's been out injured and inactive for some time as the champion. How much of a relief is it to finally have the middleweight undisputed title up for grabs?
No, it's good. I'm happy that he's finally back. Timing is everything in life, and this thing's worked out perfect.
If Adesanya does win the fight, does he get to defend the title in Auckland?
Well, I can tell you this: he fought hard for this fight to be in New Zealand, so I'm sure he wants to defend, in New Zealand. So we'll see how this whole thing plays out and where we go from there.
But if he loses, is there a rematch clause?
No, there's no rematch clause, but, obviously if the fight was, a knockdown, drag him out war like I think it will be, and it's a razor-thin decision or something like that, maybe we'd talk about a rematch. But you got to see how the fight plays out.
Let's talk cash. How much money does the winner of this fight stand to make?
Well, they both stand to make a lot of money. Obviously, they're both champions, so they both share in the revenue of the pay-per-view. So, yeah, these guys are both going to make good money.
What are your thoughts on the calibre of New Zealand fighters at the moment, in particular those coming out of City Kickboxing Gym?
No, it's out of New Zealand, period. I mean, and Australia, both places, the sport has taken off. The fan base has grown huge, and there are tons of kids now over there training, to fight in the UFC instead of playing other sports. So that's why the talent level has been unbelievable coming out of both of those places.
We have a lot of rising Kiwi stars in UFC. When will we get to see more regular UFC bouts here on our shores?
Yes. I mean, if you look at it right now, the interim champion is from New Zealand. The champion is from Australia. And because we're putting on these massive fights over there, it just creates this explosion of people that are into it or training or whatever it might be. So yes, I mean, we're really just getting started over there. You're going to start to see a lot of UFC events on that side of the world.
In the absence of Conor McGregor, who are the best personalities in this sport? Does Israel Adesanya fill that gap?
Oh yeah, Israel is definitely one of them. Absolutely, Israel's one of them. Robert's one of them. I mean, if you just look at these two, look at how many seats they're selling over there right now on the same day as basically, your event that's happening is like the equivalent of the Super Bowl in the United States. I mean, the fact that this thing is selling the way that it is and as big of a fight, what you don't realize is, not only is this the biggest fight ever in the history of, New Zealand or Australia, but this is a massive fight all over the world. The United States, Brazil, Canada, the Middle East, and the list goes on and on. Everybody around the world will be watching this fight. And if I couldn't pull off the Khabib fight in Abu Dhabi that we just did, this was going to be the fight that was going to happen in Abu Dhabi. It wouldn't even have been in Australia. So, yeah, this is a massive global fight, and both of these guys are huge stars.
Would you like to see an Israel and Jon Jones fight in the future?
Yeah, I mean, those guys have been talking smack back and forth. If Israel wins and he really does want to fight Jon Jones, that's a really big fight.
Now, Dana, Melbourne don't want ring girls at the fight. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's that they don't want ring girls. I think that they're just uneducated about what ring girls are and what they really do and what they really mean to the UFC. One of our girls, Ariani, has like 5 or 6 million followers on social media, and the other girls have millions too. These girls are as much ambassadors of the sport and of the brand as anybody else in the sport. And, I think that, the woman, well, I get it. I think her head and her heart are in the right place. She's just not educated on what these girls really do and what they really mean to the brand.